welcome to Books and Beyond. My name is Jimmy Bennett. I'll be your host. Usually, my show is to help people personify their aspirations, to bring out the creative side of people, and to give them a chance to show their stuff. But in this crisis, the COVID-19 crisis, it's brought a lot of challenges to us, and there's a lot of things I'd like to, try to help people out with, and try to bring the community a little closer together, and maybe give you some information that will, eventually help you. In that vein, today we're going to talk about the local business, the restaurant business. As you know, the restaurant business is a huge part of our economy. There's many places, a lot of great places, and of course, everything's on hold right now. As a chef myself, I've been in the restaurant business for a lot of years, and it's sad to see so many people out of work and so many beautiful places closed down. But there is a bright spot in all this. There's a lot of places that are doing takeout and offering food, and I'm hoping that people will get out and help support the local restaurant business. And to help us navigate this, my guest today will be Elizabeth Saede. Elizabeth is an author. She's wrote a book called Lobster Summer. She is the editor and writer for the Mystic Neighbors magazine, and she has a lot of articles in various local newspapers and publications, and she does a lot with thisismystic.com. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about the takeout business in our area. Elizabeth, thank you for coming.
Hi, Jim. I'm all set up for our interview.
There you go.
I've been rocking this lately when I'm out in public. I just thought I'd get a kick out of doing that. So thank you for asking me to talk about this. It's really an important topic. And frankly, I reached out to all the local places to see what was going on. And I've learned two important things. Don't assume your favorite restaurant is open, and don't assume they're closed. Some of them have reduced hours. Some of them are only open on the weekends. Some of them used to have breakfast and lunch and dinner, and now they only have dinner. And it's completely fluid because they're all coming up with new creative ways to serve the public. And they're all trying very hard to stay in business and to continue to connect with the public. And it's nice that there are some organizations that are helping with that. So one of the things I noticed was the Rotary Club of Mystic is directly asking us to support our local restaurants by ordering takeout or buying a gift card. And some of these restaurants have created affordable menus specifically for this time. And what's nice about that is they're being creative. So for example, Bravo and Red 36 are owned by the same people, but you can order menu items from both restaurants, pickups only at Bravo. Breakwater, Go Fish, and Steak Loft are all, you can order from all of them, but you only pick up at Go Fish. And there's all kinds of things going on. So chapter 1 is doing a date night box that includes some Prosecco, pasta, salad, cheesecake. And it's been a fun, affordable way for people to sort of get out there. Now, you're a chef, so I know you feed yourself well. And I'm a pretty good home cook, and I feed myself pretty well. But boy, have I been craving anybody else's cooking, not my husband's, not his, but anybody else's. I really want a professional chef to create something delicious for me. So I've been craving particularly samurai noodles ramen, which is perfect on a cold, windy day like we're having today. But everybody's doing fun things. So S&P is doing something special. They opened because so many people asked them to. So they're only open on the weekends, but they're giving 20% off to medical professionals, first responders, and people that are helping all of us right now. And I appreciate how much they're giving back. One of the other things that was fun is people reached out to me to tell me good things about other businesses, and I really appreciate that. So Matt Bedoin from Mystic Knotwork told me that Abbott's Lobster in the Rough is doing takeout, but they're also selling fresh groceries. And I don't know if you heard about that, Jim, but there are quite a few restaurants that have decided to sell fresh groceries. Now, if you're in Noank, it's a tiny little village. And what's neat about that is it makes shopping easier. So I like the idea of being able to pick up some fresh vegetables, some dairy, maybe some kielbasa, some cheese, flour tortillas, all kinds of things. On their website, they have a separate link that describes what they have you can order. So one of the things we haven't talked about yet is the fact that almost all of these places have online ordering. Most of the orders can be picked up. Some of them can be delivered. A handful of restaurants are actually doing their own delivery for the first time ever. But a whole bunch of them are doing delivery through DoorDash, Hub, Uber Eats, and even a new one called Food, F-U-D. I don't know what it is either. But everybody's trying creative things. So for 3 weeks now, I've heard from several friends that Mel's Downtown Creamery is allowing you to do surprise delivery of ice cream to your friends.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
isn't that cool?
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is
gosh,
very
I would.
cool.
It has to be somebody local, of course, but that's been making me smile for weeks and making me crave ice cream when maybe I wouldn't otherwise. But even a little bit beyond the restaurants, Mystic Oysters in Noank is selling 50 oysters fresh off the boat for $30. A lot of people have been taking advantage of that because they're used to supplying the restaurants.
Right.
And although they don't really have that set up right now the way it used to be, they've got all these fresh oysters because they're farming them. So that's pretty fun. I found out just this morning that Terra Firma Farm in North Stonington, you can pick up fresh dairy right there. You don't even have to go to a store. And I'm just getting a kick out of all these creative solutions that people are coming up with. So the other thing I found out was, and I found this out from Dogwatch Mystic, and they have pickup from Dogwatch Mystic, which is right on Route 1.
Right.
You can get menu items from both restaurants, but what's neat about it is they told me that they're part of something brand new called Stonington Feeds Stonington. And this is organized by some locals to support local restaurants, but also to provide meals to those who need them. So who needs an uplift more than somebody who's already struggling?
Right.
And what's neat about this is they've got a GoFund page, they've got a Facebook page, and you can donate at both places. But they've been collecting for the last couple of weeks, and they just on Saturday delivered $5,500 in grocery and restaurant gift cards to Stonington Human Services.
That's nice.
What that means in practical terms is that's enough to provide all those who live in senior housing a meal, all of them. And it's something completely creative. And so Engine Room is doing something specific for their employees. They're giving 50% of any gift card sales directly to their own employees. And there's a lot going on. I mean, I barely scratched the surface here, but what I've learned is it's really worth reaching out to find out, because any given day it could be different. So if you have a question, I would call the phone number of the restaurant, because they probably have the most up-to-date information there. Then I would check their website. If you're craving something, I don't know anybody that's not craving something different. I can tell you I have way too many meals that look the same and taste the same right now. I really am craving sushi from Pink Basil, and I'm craving a burger from the Engine Room, and I'm craving all these things. So, and one of the things, okay, so back to ordering. I would look online. Almost all of them have online ordering. I check their Facebook page to see if there's anything fun going on. But I would really call the phone number for the restaurant because they have the most up-to-date information there. I called one yesterday just to ask a little bit, because one of the things that's different right now is, although the state mandated that the restaurants not have dine-in eating, a lot of them have an adult beverage business that goes right along with their food, and they're able to sell that for the first time with their food going out the door as long as it's sealed. And what's nice about that is, for some restaurants, that will be the difference between staying open or not. And one restaurant owner actually told me that all the liquor stores are actually doing really well right now, because people, that's the alternative, right? If you can't go out to get something to drink and hang out with your friends. And Ricky Au from Pink Basil and Samurai Noodle reached out to me, and he said, so in case you're wondering, in case you're really still not sure if I'm a local restaurant, this is some of the things we're doing. He said, we have a minimal staff. We have everybody in face masks and gloves. The person that's taking the phone calls never touches the food. The people that are preparing the food are completely protected. And you have a time to pick up your food. They actually put the food outside with your name on it, and nobody else ever touches it. So they're really going as far as they possibly can to make it as safe as possible for everybody. And it's one of the things that's funny about this is, for some people this won't be different, but it was different for me. To stay within my budget, I usually use cash. Well, everybody's only taking plastic right now. And in fact, they're only taking plastic over the phone. They don't even want your card in person. They don't want anybody touching anything they don't have to. And like Abbott's, when you'd have a pickup at Abbott's, they literally put it outside on one of the picnic tables. So there's so little contact between people, and the people that are preparing the food are being so careful, and the people that are processing those phone calls and those credit cards are separate from the people touching the food. Everybody's being very, very careful. If anything, it is safer now to get takeout food than it's ever been, because everybody's being more careful.
That's a good point. And it's hard. I know it's hard for people to, especially a lot of people are really isolating themselves and trying very, very hard not to have any contact with anybody else or any other thing. This is a very invasive virus. It's very catching. The numbers are staggering when you look at it at the rate of infection. But in some ways, I think that it makes it even makes people even more aware of it. And I think a lot of the restaurant people and stuff are very, very smart about, like you say, wearing their gloves, wearing their masks, not touching things, not allowing outside contact. So they are extremely safe. And there's a lot of other little things I've noticed too. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen the same thing. Every once in a while, you see on Facebook pop up, there'll be a lobsterman down in Stonington who brought in a catch of lobsters, and they're selling their lobsters for $10 a piece.
Yeah,
that's quite a treat. You know what I mean? Hop in your car, drive down, and get a couple of lobsters. And the other thing I'd like to encourage, and you talked about people like the Rotary Club and other organizations that are helping people out, but even on a personal level, I know myself. I am a chef, so I do cook, and it's not hard for me. It's very easy. I joke with my wife about the 17-minute meal. It doesn't take me long to put together food and stuff like that. But I do tend to make too much, and I don't like to eat the same thing over and over and over again. So I've been taking my leftovers, and I've been making soups and other things and taking them to friends and neighbors who don't cook. You know what I mean?
wow.
Just take it, drop it off at their house. I don't go inside. We don't make contact. That's the kind of thing that you can do for people. You know what I mean? There's a big, people are starting to realize that this is not going to be just this week or next week. This is going to go on for a while. And I realize that it's tough with birthdays, anniversaries. Yesterday, Easter. That was a tough holiday not to have your family.
Yeah.
Zoom was a wonderful thing. I did Zoom with my family, and it was nice to see. But that whole thing of making a big dinner and sitting down and eating together, it's a hard thing. But there's a lot of places that put out, good meals like that you can order. It's a treat for your family. Um, and I think that people really need to take advantage of this. Like I said, being in the restaurant business myself, I really feel I know so many people, and I'm not just talking about the owners, but the bartenders, the waiters, the cooks, the salad guys, the dishwashers. They're not working. They're out. They need, but if we can get out and we can do a little support, at least we can put some of these people to work and give them some income, which is going to be important in the weeks to come.
Nice to have something to look forward to. It
Right.
could especially be a special occasion like Tuesday. It's time to have a nice meal because it's Tuesday. It One of the things that occurred to me is my food budget's bigger right now because I don't have that expense right now. So any place I would have been going, I've got a little more money, so maybe I could afford takeout at a time when I wouldn't otherwise. But and actually, one other fun thing. Just this morning on Facebook, this is a really good time to be on social media and to connect with your local community more than ever because there's so much neat information circulating and opportunities to help others. You just don't know unless you are connected. And if we're in our homes, how are we connected? And the reality is sometimes we don't know what's going on. We don't know that our neighbor 4 houses up maybe needs somebody to go grocery shopping for them. So the Mystic Rotary actually set up a volunteer corps where people have signed up to help their neighbors. There aren't too many people who've reached out, but we've only been doing this for a few weeks. I think as the time goes on, more people will be looking for help. Just this morning, see if I can get the name of this, the Groton Economic Development posting on their page that it's called Eat Local, Win Local. Now through May 4th, if you spend at least $15 at 2 different restaurants in Groton, and they say from the Thames River to the Mystic River, scan and send the receipts to the Groton Economic Development, and they're easy to find by going to exploremoregroton.com. But that's for a chance to win one of 10 $25 restaurant gift certificates. Wow. So they're putting back into the community too. So that's something that just happened this morning. And speaking of more good news, just last week, Stonington Crew got a bunch of rowers from their training area at the school, and they brought them home. And in a single day, this past Saturday, 8 days ago, they combined rowed 800 miles and donated over $7,000 to the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center.
Nice.
So people are being creative. It's hard for them to. They're probably not going to be back on the water again this season, but they wanted to do something, and it gave them a lot of incentive. So I know we were just going to talk about restaurants, but a couple of retail stores reached out to me, and I just wanted to tell you a couple of quick things. Mystic Knotwork is giving 10% of their online sales to local charities in April. Adore is giving a 20% discount on everything. Trove, Tidal River, Hang the Moon, a bunch of local places are giving discounts, and that's the thing. It changes daily. It keeps changing depending on the business, and there's really no substitute for just reaching out because Easter's past, but Mother's Day is coming, graduation is coming. Even if we don't have big graduation ceremonies, birthdays are coming. There are going to be reasons to buy. And rather than go on Amazon, I know it's easier. I do it too. But our local stores need the help right now. So I heard that Bank Square Books, if you contact them, if there's a particular book that you want and you see it on Amazon, you can reach out to them, and they have actually been delivering to locals. So
Oh, no, I didn't
please,
know that. That's, well, as an author, I'm pleased to hear that.
well, that was a couple of days ago, and honestly, that could have changed too. But I guess what I'm saying is, please think of your local businesses first for all of your needs, because there's a pretty good chance that somebody within a 5 mile radius of you who lives here, whose kids go to school here, who supports all of your school things. I don't know if you remember the what's that called? Hold on a second. The Mystic Dining Passport Program, where you buy
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing and then you get deals. So there's a bunch of local restaurants that support that every year, and 100% of the proceeds go to scholarships and the community and global charities and really good things. And these are the same people that support everything that's going on in our community. And these are our neighbors and they're our friends. And I guess my biggest plea is, think of your 3 favorite restaurants or 4 favorite restaurants. Can you get something from each of them in the next 4 weeks so that they can open their doors when this all returns to normal, so that they're still there? We don't want these places to close. We don't want our favorite places to not be there anymore. And even though for some people their income is really shrunk, that they're not really sure what's going on, could you buy groceries from your local restaurant? Could you buy a $10 gift card from them and give it to a neighbor who's maybe struggling? Uh, there's just a lot we can do, and people are being very creative about it. I would not assume at all that everybody's okay. Oh, they've been there forever, they're going to be fine. This has never happened before. We don't
Right.
know what's going to happen, but our neighbors need us now
Well,
more than
restaurants,
ever.
I can tell you this from experience, and I know this. Restaurants operate on a very low margin. You'd be surprised how little profit they make by the time the payroll, they pay for the food, they pay for their utilities. And not having any income coming in is going to hurt a lot of people badly. Like you said, I wanted to mention a couple other kind of creative things. A friend of mine, Fred Neff, was telling me that while him and his helper were out doing some business one day, they decided to get a pizza at Crisco's Pizza in Mystic, and they offer a free beer while you wait. So they sat on the tailgate of their truck and had a beer in the parking lot, and then when their pizza was ready, they got their pizza and took it. I heard Mystic Pizza's doing the same thing. They're offering a free beer with pizza offer orders and stuff. Yeah, obviously, they've relaxed some of the laws about letting you drink out in the parking lot and stuff like that. And I don't encourage anybody to go get hammered and go pick up food, but it's kind of a neat thing. A couple other small things, I know, even if you're not, you're not up for going out or going to a restaurant or using your thing. There's places like McQuaid's Market that, they're a grocery store, but they have a lot of takeout food. They have a lot of ready to eat food that you can just heat up. And they also make a lot of dishes that are, you cook them yourself, which is a nice treat. That way you don't have to go through the big process of preparing everything. You can just do it yourself. Um, and you know what? Like you say, 2 or 3 people going out, a couple times a week or maybe 3 times in the next month or something. I'd like to throw another challenge out there. Mother's Day is coming, and Mother's Day is the biggest day in the restaurant business, and it's going to hurt badly this year. I mean, we probably won't be back up and running by Mother's Day, and that is a huge bump every year for every restaurant. So let's everybody think about this now. You have a few weeks ahead of time. Instead of cooking on Mother's Day, you know, how about getting a takeout order from one of our local restaurants? Have it delivered to your mom, if she's nearby. Bring it home for your wife or your children, have your children help you out, pick a place. Maybe, you can bring it home for your wife and their mother. But I think that would be, a great way for everybody in this area to show our support for our local businesses.
I think so too. And if you don't know if they're open, mysticchamber.org has a pretty good list of who's open and what's going on. So if you're looking for a shortcut, you don't want to contact everybody individually, I would start there, mysticchamber.org.
Okay, that's good. Good. Yeah, because it's it'd be. I'm hoping that I'm not. See. I'm kind of. I'm not ignorant about this. I'm not sure how you go about finding out what people are offering, except for the call. Is there any sites or anything that list the menus and stuff?
Most of the individual restaurants have their own menus online, but where you've got multiple restaurants, you can order from all of them, but the pickup's only in one location. They're just everything's different. So I think if you go to mysticchamber.org and take a look, maybe it gives you an idea, and then you go to individual websites. There's really no substitute for that, because you not only need to know, nobody has the menu memorized. Well, maybe you do if you eat there a lot, but
Yeah.
not everybody's preparing their full menus. Some are. They're not all open the same days. I think there's no substitute for just reaching out and asking, because there's some information on individual restaurant Facebook pages. The individual websites are being maintained pretty carefully because people are looking there for information. But I would just say narrow it down to a couple of favorites and then just reach out to them individually. They're there, they're taking the phone calls, they're answering questions. And if you don't get somebody live, there's a pretty good chance that there's information on their answering machine that's exactly what you're looking for.
Good. Well, I think let's put that challenge out there. Let's let everybody take out for Mother's Day. Support the local businesses and treat your mother and your significant other to a nice meal.
Start now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I would say is you want to let people know as soon as possible if you want to do a takeout order. The food has to be ordered. The food has to be prepared. And if you call up on Mother's Day, it'd probably be like if you hopped in the car and tried to get into a restaurant on Mother's Day and find out you got a 5-hour wait. So think ahead a little bit, but you have plenty of time. A lot of people they've got all the time in the world to do this.
Our local bakeries are looking for business too. And honestly, even if you're making your own meal, maybe pick up something a little extra for a treat. They're just ways of keeping them going and making our food preparation easier, really.
Yeah, I saw the SIFT. I thought SIFT had closed, but I saw that they were open, right?
They are doing takeout, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. It's good to see, I like to see everybody, try to stay alive during this, There's a few places, unfortunately, there's a couple places knowing everybody was very excited about the Fisherman restaurant reopening, and that's going to be on hold for a while. And the Seahorse is under renovations. I'm not sure when. I'm sure they won't open until everything comes back up online, but I wish them all the best when they do.
Hey, Jim, you just made a really good point. Some of these places that are closed, they are renovating right now.
Right.
And they're taking advantage of the fact that they are closed. Is it ideal? No, but they're making the best of it, just like we all are. So
right.
We should really be as supportive as we're capable of.
Yes. Yep. Also, another kind of a funny, a little aside that I saw that I was kind of, I thought was kind of interesting was, this year, the little baby chicks they sell at Easter time, little baby, real live baby chickens. Well,
yes.
They sold out of them. They can't keep enough of them. People are buying them now. And
why?
I think a lot of people are thinking that they'll have fresh eggs, and I hope that people realize what they're getting into. It's like bringing home that hamster. You know what I mean? It's kind of neat for the first week or so, but it's a lot of work. You know what I mean?
I hope they sold chicken coops for every one of those chicks that they sold. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of I thought that was kind of interesting. Because I know that they usually sell a few every year, but I guess the people went crazy this year.
Okay, wrap up.
What else is all right? So now let's see. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Liz. I guess that'll be it for today. I want to thank you very much for coming on and going over this. I hope that everybody will take advantage of what they've learned today and go do a little takeout and stuff. Um, as for Books and Beyond, for the next few weeks, I'm not going to be focusing as much on showing people's creative sides or promoting their hobbies or their passions. I'm going to try to use the show to help us all get through this COVID-19. Next week, I have a psychologist coming on will help us to teach us how to, or help us try to get through this isolation without losing our minds. I hope to have a teacher and do a little bit about uh, online learning and a few other things. And we'll see what we come up with. But for now, this is Jimmy Bennett. I want to thank Elizabeth Saede for coming on today. My name is Jimmy Bennett. Thank you for watching Books and Beyond.